Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney if you're new here, and I'm very glad that you're joining us today. Today I am filming my Prison Healer reading vlog. Round of applause because honestly I didn't know if I was gonna see it through, but here we are. I've been in a serious fantasy mood, so that's kind of what has motivated me to get my butt into gear and get this reading vlog going. So I have all of those right here, and we have, starting off, the Prison Healer. This is the first book in the series, and we'll get a little bit more into what that one specifically is about here in a moment. And then we have the Gilded Cage as the second book of this series, and then finishing off with the Blood Trader. But as far as the Prison Healer goes, you have Kiva.
Hello, I'm just popping in to say that I know that her name is most likely Kiva. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, not Kiva, but I say Kiva the entirety of this vlog, so just prepare for that, and yeah, bye.
Who is a 17-year-old girl, and she lives in Zalendorf, which is a death prison, and there she works, you guessed it, as the prison healer. The rebel queen in this book is captured, and she gets sent to Zalendorf, and she has to complete the trial by ordeal, which is basically just a series of challenges against fire, water, air, and earth. And Kiva, as the prison healer, it's her job to keep this woman alive. I really don't know what else is going to happen in this whole trilogy, and I'm excited to find that out. That's what I'm going to start doing today. We're going to do The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I'm a slow reader, so I'm going to do what I can do right now. I just cracked open an Alani. I am a sleepy girl, so I need a pick-me-up, and other than that, I'm just going to go ahead. I think I'm going to read it in the bed today, and go ahead and just start The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Hello everyone, it is the next day. As you saw last night, I really tried my hardest to stay up late, but that's just truly not who I am as a person. I'm a go to bed early type of gal, so I managed to stay up till 12 o'clock. That's the best that I could do. I ended up getting, I think it was 130 pages into The Prison Healer. Let me grab it real quick. I've got her right here. This book has been good so far, but I will say it's kind of seeming slow to me. Since I haven't really talked about The Prison Healer yet, I wanted to take at least a little bit of time to do that, and I think that I'm going to go ahead and do that while I'm kind of just winding down for the evening. I'm going to take my makeup off. In The Prison Healer, when we start off, there is a scene of a young girl, her father, and her brother down by the river picking berries for the mom of the family. The family ends up hearing a scream, and this is just like the start of what I'm sure was the worst day of their lives, because before they can really even react or really just know what's happening, there's soldiers surrounding them, guards of all type, and that's really all that we see starting out with the prologue. And then we jump 10 years forward and we meet Kiva pretty soon. Kiva is the prison healer. So what this means is that when new prisoners arrive at Zalendorf, they come to the prison healer first, and she kind of cleans them up, treats any wounds that they might have, shaves their hair, gives them, their uniform, takes their old clothes away. Guards come in and they have a new inmate, which Kiva immediately thinks is weird because it's not normal to get inmates in the middle of the night. So automatically she has warning bells going off, and as it turns out, the new inmate is the rebel queen, and she is in very bad shape. This woman is very sick, and they tell Kiva basically patch her up, make sure that she's good to go. And this obviously is very jarring for Kaiva because one, this is the rebel queen, and two, this is the trial by ordeal. But yeah, I definitely just want to keep on reading and get more connected to the characters because I think that the story itself has a lot of potential.
Would it surprise anyone if I said that I ended up falling asleep last night? Who told me that it was a good idea to lay down on the couch with my headphones, listening to the audiobook? I was probably asleep in like 5 minutes and I just randomly woke up and it was 2 a.m. We're gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna get something to eat and a coffee, and then I think that I'm just gonna go and hang out at the library. I'm feeling scared because I'm wearing this little vest. It's just a little fleece vest, but I just feel like it looks so silly. But yeah, it'll be fun to maybe see if they have any books that I want to check out at the library today because I haven't had any checked out from them in maybe 3 weeks or something like that. So I'm excited to just go ahead and head uptown. Thursdays, whether I try or not, always end up being the day that I'm out and about.
Okay, hello everyone. So last night I did end up finishing The Prison Healer, and can I just say that I was not expecting that ending whatsoever. I feel like I haven't really given that much of an update as far as The Prison Healer goes, but I feel like that's really just because this book, in my opinion, was moving so slow until it wasn't. I would say that until you got 60% of the way into this book, that it just was kind of slow. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of world building that was necessary. Obviously, as a reader, you always want to get into like the action and everything. So it was a little bit aggravating that it was taking so long to pick up, but I'm glad that I stuck with it because when I tell you that things really just hit the fan. I'm scooting over because this sun keeps on changing location. Found family is one of the main aspects that I really love when it's in a book, especially when it's done right, and just the way that everyone was so supportive of Kaiva and always making her comfortable even though she was going through really hard things, and knowing that she had a support system. I really grew to like the found family in this book. And as for the main romance in this story, we have Kaiva and Jaren, and the way that Jaren cares about Kaiva and how taken he is with her is just the sweetest, most adorable thing ever. Jaren had so many beautiful proclamations towards Kaiva, and the quotes were just hitting me right in the feels. And as far as the trials go, the trials weren't bad, but they weren't as action-filled as you would expect, especially when the word trial is used. Like, I feel like there wasn't anything that Kaiva necessarily could have even done in these trials. They were just these outlandish things that obviously she couldn't complete without any elemental magic. None of them really required her to do anything, and it would have been nice to see a little bit more action on that front. But other than that, the ending and like the complete change of events really made up for that, because the last, I'd say 30 or 40 pages, it's just like whiplash, and then the last page freaking snaps your neck entirely, because that just was like yanking the rug out from underneath me. I did not expect that ending whatsoever, and it made me so excited to jump into the next book. I think that I'm gonna wait to do all of my ratings and everything until I've completely finished this series. I do have high hopes for the rest of the series, and I'm just so excited to keep on reading this. Today, it's about 1 p.m. right now, and my only plan for today is literally to read. Page 28, right at the start of chapter 3 right now, and I'm really hoping that I can finish this today. Hello and happy Saturday. I don't have a whole lot of time at all to give this update, but I just would have felt wrong without doing one. So yesterday I started reading The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, and this is the second book in the Prison Healer series. So far is very interesting. I feel like because I do have a connection with the characters already from the first book, and I have these thoughts and how I want things to go, it's making this even more interesting and entertaining, because when as a reader do you get what you want? Rarely ever, and it's killing me. Getting a lot more information about the rivalry between the rebels and then the Volantis family. And just that contrast is making other things absolutely crazy, and it's eating me alive. I'm still really, really loving the relationship between Jaren and Kaiva. I think that they are so well suited for one another and everything. I just want to see them push past that barrier in their relationship so badly, but that hasn't happened yet. But I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. There's a lot of conflict going on behind the scenes and how Kaiva is feeling about everything that's going on in her life, and I don't know which direction she's gonna end up going. Found family is meeting with actual family, and it's just causing this huge conflict in Kaiva's life that she can't just merge the two together. The only thing that I'll say so far is that we haven't hit any action yet, and I'm about 50% through. I'm on page 204, which is the start of chapter 17. Like I said, very politics heavy. There's a lot with the rivalry going on, so I'm sure we're gonna hit that action eventually. Today I have to work the rest of the day. It's 1 o'clock now. I think that that's really where we're going to sit until I get some more time to read, which is eating me alive. So even if that ends up being tonight at the middle of the night when I get home, I don't care. We're gonna get more into this book because I'm just in a chokehold right now. Jaren has me in a chokehold. That man is perfection. That ending actually just pissed me off.
So I have beef with the second book, The Gilded Cage. So let's just kind of talk about why that is. Because this book really betrayed me, and I guess that's a central theme of this book is betrayal. In this book, we really just get to see a lot more of the connections continue to develop. We also see new relationships forged because of new characters and things like that, so that's always super fun. And of course, the main thing that I'm focused on is the romance because, obviously. Jaren in this book really just continued to amaze me. It's just so obvious how much he cares for Kaiva. He's already so protective of her because of everything that she's went through in Zalandov, and he really just wants her to have the opportunity to chase her dreams and not have to worry about the negative things in life. This book is very nerve-wracking. I just never really knew what was going to happen, and I was eager for Kaiva to make a decision. By the time she finally did choose where her loyalty stands, it was too late. And something that I'm learning is that Lynette Noni is the queen of freaking plot twist, because the ending of this book I feel like typically in a trilogy, the second book is more of a filler to keep the story going and kind of give you some more background information. And this book did this, but it also made me feel so many different things. I literally felt sick to my stomach at the way that this book ended, so I'm a little scared jumping into The Blood Trader. This is the last book of the Prison Healer trilogy. Really didn't read that much yesterday, but I did get a little bit in. I'm on page 14. And I'm pretty sure that this is just chapter 2.
So I don't have much to say. Oh, it's still chapter 1. Really like the dedication. And it says, for anyone who has ever wanted to give up but chose to keep going, to keep trying, to keep hoping, to keep surviving, this book is for us. And I just thought that that was so cute and sweet. But I'm just really excited, and I can see this being like one of my favorite series of the year. This might be the only like complete series I've read this year. That's a lie, but I think that it is the like first complete fantasy series that I've read this year. Hello everyone. The lighting's a little crazy right now, but that's what happens when I procrastinate and wait until later in the day to film a video. But nonetheless, what we're here to talk about, obviously, is the conclusion, my final thoughts on the Prison Healer series. This series, I'm not going to lie, I had high hopes for, and I feel like they really were met. Like, I absolutely love this series, and this is going to be a series that I definitely will recommend to all of my friends. While I was reading the books, I was only highlighting in them. I wasn't tabbing and everything, but I went through earlier today and put all of my tabs in, and oh my goodness, this just looks so appealing to me. I genuinely have never tabbed a series that much. So I'm just gonna talk about these kind of in order, but also kind of about all of them at once. I don't know if that makes sense, but hold on, just give me a second. As we've already established, the Prison Healer series is a fantasy series with romance subplots, but there's so much more than that. With this being a fantasy series, there's like everything that you would want in a fantasy in these books. There's found family, there's forced proximity, there's unlikely allies, side quests, high stakes, magical artifacts, forbidden love. I mean, should I really go on? This series really does just have everything in it, and I think that's why I loved it so much, especially because of the found family. I've already talked about the found family, but if found family is your favorite trope, I definitely recommend you reading this series. And something that I loved about the found family in these books is from the first book all the way to the end, the family was continuing to grow. When we started out with the first book, it really started kind of slow, but that's what you expect when you're going into a fantasy series. You have a lot of world building that needs to be done. And I will say that the world building from this one did carry over to this book because we have a change of scenery between the two. So there's more information that you get in this book about like the kingdoms and everything like that, because in this book, we're primarily in Zalendov the entire time. The relationships started to grow and we were introduced to some people in this book, but other than that, I didn't necessarily like the trials in this book. I feel like there could have been more action and like more description. It just felt like nothing was really happening in the trials, like I don't know, but this one ended on a crazy plot twist which really kept the momentum going. And once we started this one, the tone for me changed to like suspenseful, and like I was on the edge of my seat because this book is a book of secrets. There's literally so many secrets that are kept throughout this book that it's hard to keep count. Everyone is just being kind of sus towards one another. Everyone but Jaren. Jaren is like the only honest one, him and Tip. Relationships are continuing to build in this one, and this one had me really giddy with the romance. Things just really started to take off in this one. We got a little bit of a peek into it in the first book, but this one is when things really start to get heated. And the second book is also when, for me, the high stakes really started to pick up, because like I said, I didn't really enjoy the trials, so even though I knew that it was high stakes, it didn't read that way for me. But I feel like because I've already connected to the characters from the first book, when I was reading reading this one, it just felt so much more intense and I was so much more invested in what was happening. And the end of this book genuinely made me so upset because I wasn't expecting there to be another plot twist, like that big of a plot twist at the end. It just really broke my heart, like what happened at the end of this book. And because I spent the past 2 books connecting with these characters and going through stress and heartbreak, when I got to the last book, I just was entirely invested in the story. The last book is full of all of the action that I feel like we were kind of lacking in the other 2 books. They're going on quest. They have these artifacts that they're trying to search down that are really important to their mission. Some unlikely allies are formed, and I was really surprised how much I liked those relationships and those characters in the book. Some of these characters had some serious character development, which I really appreciate. And with all the character development that was going on, there's not a single character, obviously, other than the ones that are the villains of the story, that I don't like. I loved all of the characters that were a part of the found family, and I could just relate to all of them, so it really made the story a little bit more personal. As far as all of my ratings, I ended up rating the Prison Healer 4 stars, the Gilded Cage 4 stars, and I rated the Blood Trader 4.5. And even though I rated all of these books like 4 stars, I still would say this is a 5-star series. I really just think that it has everything that a fantasy series needs, and bonus points for having romance in there for us romance girlies. So I definitely recommend this series. But that's all for me, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this reading vlog. I haven't seen too many people talk about the Prison Healer, so I definitely wanted to give it a chance and get an opinion out there to y'all. Let me know down below if you've read the Prison Healer series and what your thoughts were on it, or if you have any other trilogies or series, fantasy series, anything like that that you want to recommend to me. Please let me know down below and give this video a like. And aside from that, I'll see everyone in my next video.